Random, a treacherous frontier. These are the voyages of the channel Downsize It. Its continuing mission, to explore strange new genres, to seek out new games and new player communities, to boldly go where no nerd has gone before.
Greetings, my name is Ben, aka Downsize It, and this is the final video of the Star Trek Into the Unknown ship breakdowns, because it's our last ship, and that is the Jem'Hadar Fighter Scout class vessel. And this is essentially the most numerous ship in the Dominion fleet. Basically, it swarms of these, or would be fielded, which is why you get two of them in the core set. So as you can see here, we have its basic ship card, and it gets to have 6 reserve power to work with. Okay, let's look at its stations. First, the captain's chair, standard call alert and warp. For the helm, we have standard impulse, but with a special ability. If you did impulse as a priority action, you can remove a sensor lock from the ship. Don't even have to test for it. So very easy to shake off sensor locks that people have on these Jem'Hadar fighters. To simulate, they were pretty fast and nimble and difficult to deal with. Then another special ability, final attack. If you're in the orange status of your hull, you can test your ops plus discipline to ram a ship in your forward cone arc at 2 inches. And the difficulty, you need to equal or exceed their evasion. So these things can ram on a regular basis once they get heavily damaged, and this simulates what they did in the show. They were definitely liked the kamikaze axe, and that's actually how the USS Odyssey was destroyed in their first engagement with the Dominion, when it was trying to withdraw from the field, and the Jem'Hadar wouldn't let that happen. They rammed into the deflector dish. A piece flew off into the starboard nacelle and destroyed the ship. It was quite the shock for the Federation, that action happening when they were clearly retreating. Wake-up call, you could say, for the first interaction with the Dominion. For the instrument station, we have standard sensors lock, but it's the only ship where you don't have to spend an additional energy to do so. As long as you have security, you can lock a unit. You don't have to spend a security plus energy. It also has a special ability, anti-proton beam. Too technical to add a peril to a cloaked ship with a wake at sensors range. And y'all might be wondering, what does that even mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything right now, because cloaking isn't in the game yet. It will be, though, or I should say, heavily rumored it will be, nothing officially stated yet, in the first expansion, which is also heavily rumored to be Klingons, which will introduce the cloaking mechanic. So this particular action, no effect at the moment, except for a spoilers, Mission 3 of the campaign. It will be in effect. Spoilers done. Okay. So, for the sensors, it has 4 inches 360, same as comms. And then, like the battle cruiser, 180-degree forward boost with your instrument rating, as opposed to the cone that the Federation ships have. At the tactical station, it has 3 phase polaron beams, just like the battlecruiser, but not as strong. You can fire 2 out the front, 2 out the back in 180-degree arcs, but only a maximum of 3 dice per shot as opposed to 4, and only a pierce 1 as opposed to 2. The maximum pierce you can get in an attack sequence is just 1, but still, that pierce 1 can be critical to start getting damage on the hull of those Federation scum. And then 2 torpedo tubes, though, as opposed to the battlecruiser. You can fire 1 out the fore and 1 out the aft. For the med bay, it is just the standard medical care to heal your personnel. In the cargo bay, also standard for the Jem'Hadar, readying an officer and forming a team, but no shuttles. And the engineering is also standard for transporting personnel and getting your reserve energy back. For the core stats, it has 2 evasion, similar to the Defiant class, so requires a little bit more successes to actually score a hit. However, its resilience is low, only 2, like the Constellation class, so relatively easy to get damage cards on these little buggers. It also is slower for its maximum warp speed. It can only go up to a maximum of warp factor 8. That makes it the slowest maximum potential ship in the game so far. For the alert stats, we have Green Alert 1 to start. Only probes if you've purchased the upgrade. They don't have it naturally. 1 reserve power, 10 engine power, 3 maneuverability, very similar to the Defiant. 1 weapons power, so you can fire at Green Alert. 1 instrument rating, and 1 fore and aft shield. Green Alert 2, still probes only, no reserve power, 8 engine power, 2 maneuverability, 1 weapons, 2 instruments, 2 shields on the fore, 1 in the aft. Yellow Alert 1, we now have torpedoes, 3 reserve power, 7 engine power, 2 maneuverability, 3 weapons power, 2 instrument rating, 3 shields on the fore, but only 1 in the back, so you want to get behind these guys when they're at this alert level. And that's pretty much true for all Jem'Hadar ships. You want to get behind them. Red Alert 1, we have torpedoes, 2 reserve, 7 engine power, 2 maneuverability, 4 weapons power, 1 instrument rating, 3 shields on the front, 2 in the back. And then Red Alert 2, torpedoes with 1 reserve, 5 engine power, 2 maneuverability, 5 weapons power, 0 instruments, 4 forward shields, 2 in the aft. So these little buggers can still bring a lot of firepower to bear. If you max it out at 5 plus 5 reserve for 10, you could still fire all of your weapon systems if you line it up like that side shot like I talked about in the battlecruiser previous thing. You can put a pretty heavy alpha strike on somebody if you wanted to do that. Now for the crew status. At the starting level, we have 3 command, 4 ops, 2 science, continuing the trend as the Jem'Hadar are not good at science. On Spire level 1, we have 4 command, 5 ops, 2 science. And then in Spire level 2, 4 command, 5 ops, and finally 3 science. Going down the first level is 3 command, 4 ops, 1 science. Then 1 command, 3 ops, 1 science, going downhill pretty quick. Next level after that, 0 command, 2 ops, and 0 science. And then lastly, 0 across the board with the disabled state. Now let's look at the hull. The Jem'Hadar Fighter only starts with 5 hull. That's the lowest in the game so far. 4 in the white. 3 also in the white with the damage card, so you can actually put a pretty heavy shot into a Jem'Hadar Fighter before the damage stops. 2 is where we finally hit yellow. And 1 is orange with the crew hit, and this is where you can then do your ramming action. And then we have 0 for disabled and 0 for destroyed. Next, let's look at the damage cards for the Jem'Hadar Fighter deck. This one only has 4 cards, which is the smallest of any deck. We have the standard exploding panels on the 4th section. Any bridge station, hazard spending apparel to move it to put wounds or trauma on officers there. Repairs in the med bay. With a command plus mechanics difficulty 3, and you take apparel if you fail. We have guidance system shot. This goes on the helm station, 4 section only. After they make a warp maneuver, an opponent may rotate up to 1 notch forward around the turning tool. This is similar to the battlecruiser, except the battlecruiser was an impulse move. This one is a warp move, where you can adjust the heading of the fighter after it makes its move. You need to re-engage the safeties at the cargo bay. Have to do command plus mechanics 2, or you add apparel. You then have the sensory display disabled at the instrument station, 4 only. After they make an impulse maneuver, the opponent may rotate it 1 notch forward to the turning tool. So there are 2 chances for the fighter to basically have its heading changed by the opponent at warp speed now and also at impulse speed, like the battlecruiser. You have to reset the displays in the med bay. Ops plus mechanics, difficulty 3, and you gain a payroll if you fail. And then it's for its critical one in engineering is inertial dampener failure. Fore or aft, you can get this critical card after it makes a maneuver. So any maneuver at impulse, each personnel suffers a trauma, and at warp, each personnel suffers 2 trauma. So you're basically gonna kill your guys if you do it at warp speed with inertial dampener failure. And then you have to bypass the relays at the cargo station. Science plus mechanics 3. This one is a brutal one to get because you saw the science stat. The science sucks on the fighter, so it's going to be really hard to repair this if you draw this damage card. Alright, and that is it for the Jem'Hadar Fighter, and that is it for my ship breakdowns for Star Trek Into the Unknown. I hope this has been useful for you guys, and don't worry, there will be more breakdown videos coming out in the future for the other aspects of the game. We have lots of equipment cards to talk about, away teams, and all that good stuff. So we'll be going over those in future videos as the weeks progress. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take it easy.